Welcome to Shonia Studio. In this playlist you can watch crime stories from all over the world, where apart from gaining knowledge about crime stories in other parts of the world, it can also provide knowledge about, for example, the culture and habits of the people in that country. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like our video. Thank you. Our discussion this time is a little more sensitive, because it relates to the life of a religious leader. I just summarize and retell it without intending to corner any party or a particular group. Let's be wise in our comments without being hurtful, and let's take the good lessons for everyday life. Now I invite you to go to the Tegucigalpa area, which is the capital of Honduras, with a population of almost 1.6 million people, according to the 2023 census. Its position is at an altitude of 990 meters above sea level. Met a man born in 1976, named Franklin Figuero, who previously studied theology, then traveled to almost all cities in Honduras as an evangelist, and established himself as a pastor at Calvary Church, Esperanza's area, in the city of Tegucigalpa. He married his wife, Damaris, in 2013, with an age difference of 8 years. Franklin is older, and they were blessed with children quite a long time ago, namely in 2016. Actually, Damaris was not Franklin's first wife. This man had married in 2007, but his wife previously ran away with another man, when her marriage had only been going on for 2 years. In the past there were rumors that even though he worked as a priest, Franklin had a rough temper, often hurt his ex-wife, and even liked to get drunk when he was stressed. That's why his first wife ran away, leaving him, but this rumor was denied by his brothers, who said Franklin was a kind and gentle person, in direct proportion to his work. While the man never wanted to comment on the rumors, he wanted to focus on his congregation and move on with his new little family. Because even wanting clarification won't change anything, he really cares about people's thoughts. The most important thing for him is God's view of him. If we look at Franklin's life with his wife and daughter now, it could be said that he is well off. His salary as a religious leader does not make him rich, but all his needs are met. But there are sudden expenses that can be a surprise and require spare money in every household. This is what Damaris felt. It is quite difficult to depend solely on her husband's wages, although she still have to be patient and live a simple life according to the teachings. In 2018 this woman took the initiative to trade women's clothing online from social media, to help with finances, and is selling quite well. She even became a walking model wearing clothes that she sold everywhere, so that people would be more interested and want to buy them. It's a marketing technique that's successful because in the end it really sells, even though there are those who say that wearing clothes that are a bit open at the shoulders and chest doesn't reflect the figure of a pastor's wife, they say. However, for Damaris, the goal is to trade so that it will sell well. So just ignore those who sneer or wear polite clothes every time you come to church. You must be able to see the situation. In March 2019 there was a dispute between the Franklin family and Damaris regarding the woman's behavior. Starting to live a bit of a luxurious lifestyle, wearing too much jewelry, showing off her purchases and expensive bags on social media, and often not accompanying her husband to religious events. Some rumors even stated that Damaris' income was greater than Franklin's, which made her obsessed with wealth. There was a commotion in the extended family because the woman was considered to be setting a bad example and began to worship money. This made Damaris return to her parents' house in the Puerto Cortes area for almost a month, bringing her daughter, who was picked up by Franklin, but she refused. Until finally Marie's father and mother persuaded her to return to her husband. Be a good wife and remember the principles of life that must be followed. Previously, she was aware that marrying a priest meant she would become a role model for the congregation. Don't be selfish, stay simple. She even have to be a leader for mothers in the church. There was a struggle within herself for a long time, until finally Damaris returned home to her husband and changes began to occur both in the way she dressed and her interactions with the congregation. She also reduced the frequency of her sales and focused on accompanying her husband more in his duties. On the 5th of June, 2019, 3 months after Damaris had run away to her parents' house, a physical altercation occurred between Pastor Franklin and a man named Murillo Fonseca, who was none other than a musician at Calvary Church. Many people don't know what the cause is, but people corner Franklin, because whatever the problem, they should be able to restrain themselves, face the conflict with a cool head, and the discussion is very inappropriate for religious leaders to get involved in fighting to the point of hurting each other. This actually confirms the previous rumors that his first wife ran away because Franklin had a rough temper. He and his wife then apologized in front of the community, especially their congregation, for what they had done was wrong and should not be imitated. He did not want to explain the root of the problem, but in the future he will be more careful about his actions so that they don't happen again. While Murillo, the musician, never attended Calvary Church again after that. He even resigned from being a member of the church band and just gave the excuse that he no longer suited Franklin, so don't be forced to go back there. A month later, on the 8th of July, 2019, there was another commotion between Franklin and a member of the congregation named Gobatu Queensel. Don't know what the problem is. What is certain is that Gobatu then told people that Franklin almost beat him with a knife. Well, Mr. Gobatu is actually an evangelist too. He was a pastor for almost 20 years, until in 2017 he suffered a stroke, and chose to retire and become a regular congregation at the end of 2018. His body condition returned to good health and he chose to become an incandescent lamp entrepreneur with his son. So, back to his dispute with Franklin. The priest still doesn't want to clarify his dispute with Gobatu, even though Gobatu has been babbling here and there, making things worse and threatening to report it to the police. He kept quiet about this, which actually made the congregation even more curious. The number of people coming to worship began to decrease and they moved to other churches. Spicy rumors and accusations increasingly cornered him. Some say that he was originally a criminal, mentally ill, and really liked to get drunk and attack for no reason. And accusations that don't make sense are increasingly being grilled by his haters. Some even reported him to the Central Church, to immediately fire him and replace him with a new pastor. But there are still those who are loyal to be his friends. They thought there would be no smoke without fire because many people they knew and were close to still embraced him and faithfully worshipped with Franklin at the Calvary. On the 24th of July 2019 it seemed that Franklin's profession was starting to tip the scales. Mr. Gobatu realized the request of many people, to report at the Central Conference. And the fact that Franklin did not defend himself, resulted in the 43-year-old man being dismissed. Initially he was going to move, he said, to the Laser Bar area. However, the transfer letter didn't come out for a month, and the salary wasn't disbursed. Meanwhile, the clothing business run by his wife is not selling very well. There are more and more competitors selling, and the trust of the partners is decreasing in both of them. In fact, people also asked Damaris what happened to her husband. Why does he like fighting so much? What problems arose with the musician Morello and Pastor Gobatu? Did she ever take their husband to the hospital to check his mental health? But the woman chose to remain silent. She followed her husband's instructions, so as not to make the situation worse. Patiently waiting until they move to the city of Laserbar, and start everything from zero again. Even though they don't know when they will move, because it feels like he retired but his salary doesn't go down, it's really sad. Until Friday the 6th of September, 2019 afternoon, when he arrived home, Franklin got a call from his mother, that their little daughter was there, and was crying all the time because her mother didn't pick her up. Franklin tried several times to call his wife, but she didn't pick up, and finally picked up his daughter. Until evening there was no news from Damaris, and this was quite surprising, because the woman couldn't be away from her daughter for long. Until around 10 that evening the Maries called and told her husband to pick her up from the Plaza San Martin Hotel. And at that time his wife's voice sounded like she was panicking, rushing and gasping for breath. Franklin immediately speeded to the hotel in question and arrived within half an hour. Unfortunately, the situation was quite busy with ambulances and several police officers there. Franklin tried calling his wife, but she was no longer active. He asked the receptionist if he saw a figure with black hair, 163 centimeters tall, and even showed him a photo on his cell phone. This is what shocked the receptionist, who then called the police officers who were busy in the lobby. They stated that the woman in the photo, Franklin's wife, had lost her life at the age of 35 as a result of being attacked by another woman in the hotel lobby, and now her body had been taken to San Felipe Hospital, to undergo a further autopsy. A woman named Elena Garmendia, aged 37, admitted that she had attacked Damaris with a knife and lost her life, because she was burned by the fire of jealousy. She does not know the pastor's wife directly, but she knows that Damaris has a relationship with Elena's lover, Rudolfo de Royo, 29 years old, who is a member of the congregation at Calvary Church. Elena also found a lot of history between Damaris and Rudolfo during the past 2 months and committed disgraceful acts. More than twice in some accommodations, and often occurs in San March Plaza Martin Hotel, so Elena secretly saved Damaris' cell phone number, then called her pretending to be Rudolfo, and made an appointment at the inn in room 316. And there was debate and offers for almost an hour. What offer? Damaris promised to give Elena money to cover her mouth, because she threatened to spread the news to the community and the congregation about her actions as a pastor's wife. Feeling afraid and embarrassed for her husband's good name, there were mutual attacks, until Elena used a knife that had been prepared to finish off Damaris. The woman actually received injuries because she was fought back. Damaris even called her husband to ask to be picked up, but Elena didn't give up and managed to kill Franklin's wife. According to the priest's statement, his wife had been away from the afternoon to take care of selling clothes and entrusted their children to her in-laws. She should have been home since the afternoon, but, she didn't know where else it was wandering until that evening she said, "I was at the San Martin Hotel." He also confirmed that Rudolfo was a member of his congregation at Calvary and did not know that he had a relationship with his wife. From this, Rudolfo finally admitted that all this time there had been no romance between him and Damaris, but only fun, for the sake of money. According to Rudolfo, it was actually Damaris who had been teasing him 2 months earlier. He was curious until there was an offer to do something wrong, but in exchange for money. Damaris said her husband's salary was small, and many people criticized her trading business. Who knows, Rudolfo, who actually works as a technician at the water company, might want to share a little of his fortune and enjoy her body. At first he was reluctant and afraid of being caught, but then agreed by paying 2,000 lempiras or around $80 for one game. And they've played 3 times. Initially Damaris asked to pay 3,000 empira, but because Rudolfo was paying for the hotel room, he was given a discount. This is what Elena is jealous of. She is a widow with 1 child who has been dating Rudolfo for more than a year and is about to get married. Elena is very possessive because she really loves this young man. That's why she was quite shocked when she found out that the guy was having a relationship with another woman, let alone the wife of a religious leader. Damaris ran out of money. Who always invites first and asks for more transfer money, so she sends an SMS pretending to be Rudolfo, who changes the number. Met at the hotel and a terrible incident occurred that night. From the results of the decision read out by the judge at the Tegucigalpa High Court on Tuesday, the 14th of January, 2020, she was finally sentenced to 20 years in prison, because she was deemed to have taken Damaris' life with great planning. Because this news became more and more exciting, finally Pastor Franklin, represented by lawyer Scarlett Hernandez, opened his voice regarding the actual incident. Regarding his dispute with Morillo and Gobatu several months ago and everything related to his late wife. On several occasions, Franklin often heard Damaris making intimate phone calls with other people, either in the middle of the night or during the day, often secretly in the toilet, while pretending to urinate. He once checked directly on his cell phone and it was true that there were several appointments with people he knew, with his own congregation. First, it was with Murillo, so it was immediately confronted, and then it was discovered that it was not an ordinary affair, and the Maries was doing it for money, and Murillo was willing to pay. Even after that, the young man insulted Franklin, who said he was hypocritical about this incident, so there was a scuffle and he didn't want to clarify it with the congregation because it would only expose his own disgrace. Not much different from Mr. Gobatu, he was approached by Damaris. They checked in several times at the Holiday Inn hotel and were bumped into by Franklin. Gobatu even told stories here and there, saying that the couple looked holy from the outside even though they were actually dirty. He said Franklin had a violent temper, mental illness and other insults that were probably exaggerated, to gain public favor. Gobatu realized that Franklin couldn't possibly open his mouth and explain the cause of their quarrel, because his wife was like that. Even though Gobatu was wrong in just willing to pay to enjoy Damaris' body. The more Franklin is silent, the more Scrooge gets to make up stories that are important for his name to be clean. After this incident, quite a lot of people sympathized with Franklin and apologized for making strange accusations that the wife who had done something to her husband had been hurt. Never satisfied with Franklin's salary and even had the heart to tempt his own congregation by offering him her body. Don't you think about the long term? How can she not think that her husband's profession, which is considered sacred, needs to be protected? But that's how the world lives. Anything is done for money. Franklin did not make any demands on Gilberto Morillo and Rudolfo. He wants everyone to know the true story. And after that incident, Gilberto didn't dare to talk anymore. Here and there because of his own shame. Meanwhile, Franklin was also transferred to one of the churches in the city of Coma. What do you think? Is Franklin supposed to sue Gilberto for not only cheating on his wife, but slandering him here and there? Comment below. If you like this video, don't do it. Don't forget to click the like and share buttons for those who are stopping by for the first time or have stopped by often but haven't subscribed yet. Don't forget to click the subscribe button first and also turn on the notification so that next time, for example, if I upload a new video, you will be the first to know. Don't forget to watch it. Here are all my other videos. Remember to keep your fingers and tongue so you don't hurt other people's hearts and keep your health. Thank you.